everyone, welcome to this new vlog. We are here exploring a brand new country, the home of castles, beers, spires, and more. Can you guess it? We are in the Czech Republic, aka Czechia, and what better place to start off than in the capital city of Prague, right in the heart of the city at the Old Town Square. So I was specifically told online to come here early in the morning to avoid the crowds, and I'm here a little before 10 a.m., which is early for me, and it's not too bad here. So I definitely recommend that tip, but you can see all these nice buildings around here, and there's specifically one that we are here to see this morning. Okay, I guess everyone else had the same idea as me, and this is where everyone is. But here is what we are here to see, which is the old astronomical clock of Prague. It is actually the third oldest in the world, and the oldest still in operation. So let's see it operate. So the reason it's called an astronomical clock is because it shows the position of the sun and the moon. And the reason why everyone was gathered there, as you saw, is because every hour on the hour, there is a 10-second show where it basically signifies the changing of the hour, and there's these little apostle statues that turn, among other moving parts in the clock. So pretty cool to see. So now we are at another one of the most famous and scenic spots in Prague, also one of the busiest, but it is the Charles Bridge, which runs across the river here, splitting the city. You can see all the people on the bridge, the river on that side, and on that side, and behind me you can see Prague Castle up there, which we will get to tomorrow. Alright, now that we have somewhat beaten the crowds to those famous attractions, we are getting some brunch at this notable cafe, the Grand Cafe Orient, and it is notable because it is built in the style of Cubism, which is one of the unique and famous styles of the Czech Republic. Well, that was a nice brunch, and now we are spending some time to just explore the Old Town area some more. And you know, it is a little bit touristy out here, but it is sort of in the heart of Prague, and there are a lot of nice sights and architecture, so it is a must visit and probably a logical place to start any Prague trip. We are here at the National Museum of the Czech Republic here in Prague. Let's check it out. Look at this museum entrance. Alright, we are starting at the top of the museum, working our way down, and at the top they have this floor called the cupola, and there is quite the view at these windows. a thorough exploration of the National Museum, which was pretty nice, by the way. We are now walking around the area. This is an area called Itinerary, and I am almost certain that this is less touristy than the old town where we were before, because as you can see, it's quite empty actually, and it's also a little bit away from the city center. So taking a look here before we head back toward the center of the city. Oh, and here's the church. Okay, now we are back in the city center, and I am pretty sure this has got to be the best view of Prague. Look, you got the river right there, the Charles Bridge, and Prague Castle up on the hill. Doesn't get much better than that. So in the river, there are actually 3 islands, and they're quite sizable, and basically they act as public parks. You can see everyone behind me lounging and walking. They've also got food and entertainment and shops and things like that. So great place to come and unwind toward the end of the day. Okay, I'm ending day 1 of this 3-day Prague trip here on the bridge with an incredible view of the river, and tomorrow we will be exploring west of the river, so another action-packed day to come. All right, day 2 here, and we are starting with some famous Czech pastries from this place, specializing in these collages. They have savory ones and sweet ones, so a good selection and looks pretty good. Okay, I can confirm the collages were delicious, and I just saw something interesting here as I'm walking by. Look at this old church. It's right next to this shopping mall here. I feel like that's pretty symbolic of where the country has come. Although there are a lot of cool historical stuff still here. Okay, quick status update. So I took a tram to Újezd, which is at the base of this big hill which the Petrine Tower sits upon, and I wanted to visit the Petrine Tower. I was gonna take a tram from the bottom up. Turns out there was a huge line of people, so I made the decision instead to just walk up, and hopefully that's not a mistake, because it is proving to be quite the steep walk. According to Google, it's a 22-minute walk, more like a hike really, but yeah, should be some good views up top, so hope it's worth it. I should have also mentioned that it is raining, so a little bit less of a pleasant walk, but on the bright side, I am the only one on these paths, I guess because I'm the only person crazy enough to walk up here. Okay, I made it to the top and the Petrine Tower. Take a look, it's like a mini Eiffel Tower. Honestly, if it weren't for the rain, the walk wouldn't have been so bad. But I think now the moisture on me is probably half sweat and half rain. But anyways, we're here, and yeah, lesson learned. If you're coming here, come early in the morning so you can actually take the tram and don't have to be like me. Also bring an umbrella if it might rain. Climbing up the tower, it's a lot of stairs. Made it to the top of the tower. Okay, I know I said the view from the bridge yesterday was incredible, but this is probably the best aerial view of the entire city of Prague, up here on the Petrine Tower. So now we are walking over to the Strahov Monastery, checking out that as well as a few other relatively minor sites around the area before we get lunch, and then head to Prague Castle later in the afternoon. Alright, we have made it to Prague Castle, and you can see the famous St. Vitus Cathedral behind me. And interesting thing is, Prague Castle is not just one castle, it is actually a complex here. You can see there's a bunch of buildings and courtyards, and fun fact, Prague Castle is actually the largest ancient castle complex in the entire world, and this cathedral behind me is the centerpiece of it. So let's explore the castle. Now, interestingly, I actually read online that the Czech Republic is supposedly one of the least religious countries in the world, although the cathedral is very nice. Okay, well, Prague Castle, very interesting. The complex has a whole bunch of different historical buildings to explore, and now we are walking to the nearby lesser town area to explore some of the sites there. We are now at the Waldstein Garden. Look at this nice garden, and you can actually see Prague Castle up on the hill there, or more specifically the St. Vitus Cathedral where we just were. Now here, with the dome behind me, that is the St. Nicholas Cathedral. They call this the lesser town. I'm not sure why, but it's quite busy here. Guess this is why partly it's so busy here. This is the other side of the Charles Bridge. Now here is the John Lennon wall. You see John over there? So colorful. We are now at Kampa Park here with another great view of the city here. Starting to realize that there are quite a lot of nice parks with great views here in Prague. So, one thing historically that Central Europe is famous for are its classical music composers. Of course, you've heard of the famous ones like Beethoven and Mozart. And so tonight, I'm actually going to a concert at one of the famous concert venues, which is Smetana Hall, and watching an orchestral performance of Mozart and the Czech composer Antonín Dvořák. Here we are outside Municipal House, which is home to Smetana Hall, where I'll be watching the concert tonight. This is one of the most famous concert venues in Prague, and what better way to spend a rainy evening in Prague than here watching this concert. Alright, third and final day here in Prague, and we are starting off at a traditional restaurant called Havelska Koruna. And it's really interesting. I've never had this sort of system where at the front there's like a person who gives you one of these, and then you sort of go through a sweet section and also a savory main food section, order your stuff up there, they give it to you, and then you give them back this at the end to check out. But they've got some good traditional foods. I have myself here. This is fried cheese, and this is a fruit dumpling. So, yeah, check out the place behind me. Cool place. Now we are checking out a couple of really unique sites here in the Newtown area. The first of which is behind me here, the Franz Kafka rotating head. You can see it's split into different levels, and each one is actually rotating constantly. Very cool. So now we are at the dancing house. You can see it's sort of curvy shaped, so that is why they say it looks like it's dancing. And by the way, it is also right next to this great river view. Okay, we are now on the southern side of Prague. You can see we are high up above the river, and we are in the district of Vyšehrad, which is also the name of the fortress, which we are headed to next, way up these steps. Alright, just took the tram across to the north side of the city, and we are now at our final stop of the trip, which is Letna Park. And you can see it's a little bit of a trek to get up there because the park is at the top of this hill, but should be some really nice views of the city up there. Now, while I'm on the topic of public transport, if you're still watching this at this point, you're probably pretty serious about visiting Prague. So I want to give you a quick 30-second overview of the public transport, because I really wish that someone explained this to me before I came, but it's very easy actually once you figure it out. So there's three main ways to get around via public transport. There's the bus, the tram, which runs along the streets of Prague, and then there's the metro, which is basically the underground subway. And they're all on the same transit system. What you have to do is you have to go to one of the ticket machines at the station, get one of these tickets, and then validate it, meaning there's this little box, you stick the ticket in, it stamps it with a timestamp, and then you're good. Each ticket only needs to be validated once. So if you get, let's say, a 24-hour ticket, you only need to do it before your first ride. And there's no ticket gates, no turnstiles or anything. Just get on whatever transport. Your ticket is only there in case a worker comes to check your ticket. And honestly, I've never actually seen someone check, but it is the right thing to do, and there are hefty fines if you do get found without a ticket. So now you know about public transport in Prague. Look at this view. I feel like I'm constantly being amazed by all the great viewpoints in this city. Alright, well, with this great scenic backdrop, I will end the vlog here. I hope you have enjoyed coming along with me these past couple days to explore the beautiful and historic city of Prague, and perhaps I even inspired you to come sometime as well. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next adventure.